of Texas. The Cowboys travel to Houston to face the Texans on Sunday Night Football. Since 2016, Dallas is 10-2 in primetime games. Almost a rhetorical question. Who wins the game, Will Cain?
Well, you act like you don't know the answer.
No, I don't.
I do think the Cowboys will win the game. I'm just laughing because of your expectations. Let me tell you something. This is like the Chiefs-Jags conversation we had. This is strength against weakness. The Texans are the absolute worst team in the league at protecting their quarterback. They lead the league in sacks, quarterback hits. They're the worst. You know who's really good at getting to the quarterback? The Dallas Cowboys. The war daddy you didn't think existed, Max, Tank Lawrence, once again leads the league in sacks. He's almost unstoppable, 5.5.
Agreed.
And on the other side, thank you. On the other side, I really think Taco Charlton or Randy Gregory are on the verge of breaking out and showing you how serious they are. And by the way, they also get back, because we're always getting somebody back from suspension, right, Stephen A? They're getting back David Irving.
Glad you know.
Getting back David Irving, a defensive tackle who can put some pressure on the quarterback as well. Now, if those linebackers, and by the way, rookie Leighton Vander Esch has been really good. If they can contain Deshaun Watson, it's got Cowboys written all over it.
This is the who knows who wins and the who cares bowl. I love the fact that Will Cain constantly points to things like New York, right? Like, oh, we think it's so important what happens here. But boy, when it comes to football, people in Texas really think it's all about them. And I get it, Friday Night Lights and all that stuff, and has a big influence on the culture, and the Cowboys are very popular. I'm sure they'll do a good rating. But for the rest of football fans, the Cowboys are generic. The Houston Texans are probably worse than that. And by the way, I would think... By
what metric? Just out of curiosity.
I would think,
besides the Max Kellerman
they're
sermon
middle
on the
of
Mount.
the pack. They're 2-2. That's as generic as it gets. They're likely to be 8-8. That's as generic as it gets. They get a little lucky, 9-7. Unlucky, 7-9. You know, I mean, we know what it is.
You know, Max, you need to stop saying that with that smile on your face when your Giants are worse.
By the way, you're right. I'm upset about the Giants. They're less than generic right now. But the Cowboys are just middle. They finally fixed their defense. It's better than average, and their offensive line has regressed due to injury. So their offensive line is no longer as special as it once was. They don't have receivers, but they have a better defense, and they have a great running back. They're just middle of the pack. Now, I think the Texans are going to win, actually. I think the Texans win the game at home. They got a good defense, too. They're due for a win. Bill O'Brien and Deshaun Watson aren't going to lose all season. So this is the kind of game they win against a generic team like the Cowboys at home.
Go ahead, Will.
Funny definition.
No, I will say this. Will say this, though. What makes this game very, very interesting, we all know that they want bragging rights in the state of Texas. You all know that the Houston Texans...
It's a one-sided rivalry. It's a one-sided rivalry.
We all know that to some degree the Houston Texans have an inferiority complex because of the popularity of the Dallas Cowboys. So they'll be hyped for this game, and that means the Dallas Cowboys will have to be up for it, and we don't know whether or not they will be because they're the Dallas Cowboys.
Couple of things. Max, you still have a funny definition of generic. You know, I mean, I should just go around. I'm going to stop by Dwayne Reed and look at all the best sellers and call them generic on the way out. These Apple iPhones, they're selling like hotcakes. But you know what I think? Because I'm Max Kellerman, generic. I don't know where we are. Evan, can we get some research on this? Because I'm pretty sure it came across my screen. The, 10 highest rated games of the season? I think 9 or... That doesn't make sense. Whatever, 90%. Let's go with that. Are Cowboys games. Absolutely every game, just about, highest rated game this season, guess who they featured? The Dallas Cowboys. Just like every year, just like year in, year out.
We're having Evan check that.
Get Evan on it. I feel real good about it.
Okay.
Real good.
You feel real good about their popularity without the results?
I feel real good about whether people care about them. What was your title for this, Max? The Who Cares Bowl?
The who knows who wins game in the Who Cares Bowl.
Right. On Sunday night, by the way. Sunday night,
by the way,
featured game,
you're right.
Highest ratings team in the league. Max Kellerman has climbed to the top of the sermon and proclaimed it generic.
Well, people like football, and the Cowboys are a middle-of-the-pack competitive team. And there are things to watch with the Texans. But this is not one of the 3 or 4 best games. And the only reason it is playing in prime time is because the Cowboys have, Stephen A., you can back me up if you feel I'm right here, a delusional fan base. So if you have a delusional fan base for one team that is large but delusional, you get results that the rest of the football world's like, oh, God, who cares?
You've gone from calling them generic to indicting their fans. That's fine. Tell me when Evan comes back with that stack.
They are generic and don't deserve the fan base.
So I don't know why you were yelling for him, but go ahead.
Okay. The other thing is this, Stephen A. I truly still believe, despite the popular sentiment and the buy low status of Dak Prescott, that he's going to be all right. And he's going to show up in this game. and that he's going to show himself to be one of the, I don't know, top 15 quarterbacks in this league. Dak Prescott looked good against the Lions. He can find, by the way, he can throw a deep ball. Despite popular sentiment, my goodness, can he pinpoint a deep ball. He just needs to do it a little more. Zeke has shown who he is. I'm telling you something. It's going to be all right.
Remember when Dak was in the conversation with Wentz?
Hold on,
I'm going to be all right.
You know what I mean? I got to ask you something. As somebody, by the way,
Please.
where in Texas exactly are you from?
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
I'm just say, tell the folks national television because I met Mama Cain. What a lovely, wonderful woman. Hi, Mama Cain. Go ahead, tell where are you from in Texas?
I am from the burgeoning metropolis of Sherman, Texas, 1 hour north of Dallas, Texas, population 30,000.
Okay.
What's up, Bearcats?
Okay, so does it ever vex you that you talk so much about its popularity, the popularity of the Dallas Cowboys, but they have been devoid of any kind of legitimate success for nearly a quarter century?
Does it bother me?
Yes.
Yeah, it bothers me.
You sure?
Of course.
Well, why you always got a smile on your face when you're talking about them? Why? Why? What is there to laugh about, Will Cain, when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys from somebody from Sherman, Texas?
You. I'm laughing at you.
Why?
That's the smile on my face. It's about you, not the Cowboys.
Do you remember, guys? Do you remember when
Will
Will used to argue Dak Prescott against Carson Wentz? You don't hear those arguments anymore, guys. And then Jared Goff has come up in the world. Now we see Baker Mayfield. We see Patrick Mahomes. I'm actually a Dak Prescott fan. Will, I agree with you. He is a good. I'm fine with him being my franchise quarterback, but it would be at this moment. You'd have to win a bunch of arguments to get him in the top 15, in the top kind of half of the league. I think he's in the middle of the pack, but as of right now, probably low average at best. I'm not saying you couldn't argue that he's higher than that, but boy, you'd have to win a lot of arguments.